Merry meet the lovely people, it is Niina, you're watching Fairy Chamber channel. Let's continue with the Finnish pagan holidays. Next one is going to be Juhannus, and it actually takes place tomorrow, yay! So Juhannus, it is probably the most pagan Finnish holiday that there is. And the old name of Juhannus was Ukonvakat, to honor the Finnish thunder god Ukko. And I have another video made about Ukko where I talk about him more precisely. I'll put the link to the description box, you can check that out from there. And it's very interesting, I highly recommend that if you are interested about Finnish mythology. So anyway, Ukonvakat was the pagan name for this festival. Another pagan name was Mittumari, which comes from the Swedish word midsummer festival. So Mittumari and Ukonvakat, they were celebrated in between the 20th and the 22nd of June, which is obviously the midsummer solstice in Northern Hemisphere. And in Northern Hemisphere, in Finland, during the midsummer solstice, the sun is most closest to the earth, and because Finland it is very much north, sun doesn't go down at all, so that it is the summer of the midsummer sun. How do you call that in English? The sun doesn't go down, and then in the winter the sun is most far away from the earth, as you can imagine. That's why it is dark 24/7 obviously, and it's the midwinter solstice. Anyway, in the pagan times, Ukonvakat, which is now known as Juhannus, that was celebrated during the midsummer solstice between the 20th and the 22nd of June. And then in the early Middle Ages, Finland was converted into Christianity, and in case of many different Finnish pagan festivals, the church fathers, they succeeded to turn the festival into a Christian party, but not when it comes to Juhannus. Despite the fact that the party has a Christian name, it is very much the same as the original pagan holiday. Even though today most Finns are quite non-religious. I wouldn't say non-religious. Finnish people have a very neutral approach to religions. So, people don't really analyze their religious views. I think that's the right way to put it. Anyway, still today, it has way more pagan traditions than, well, I don't think it has any Christian traditions anyway. Only the name comes from Johannes Kastea, which is in English John the Baptist. So when the Christian church fathers wanted to convert the Finnish pagans into Christianity, pretty much all the pagan holidays, the main god figure in any holiday was turned into a Catholic saint. So in the case of midsummer solstice and Ukonvakat, the saint was John the Baptist, so that is why the name was turned into Juhannus. And John the Baptist already had his own day in the Finnish almanac back in the Middle Ages, that was 4th of June. But when the church fathers wanted to melt these two festivals together, the official date for Juhannus became 24th of June, and it remained 24th of June all the way to the 1950s, when it was changed in the Finnish almanac that Juhannus should be celebrated in every Saturday between the 20th and 26th of June. So it is always the Saturday between the 20th and the 26th of June. That is Juhannus. Or in Finland we pretty much celebrate all the weekends, so it starts on Friday and ends on Sunday. So it's a long Juhannus weekend, Juhannus viikonloppu. But that's where the name Juhannus comes from. And in Finland, Juhannus, it is a national holiday. It is a non-religious holiday. And it's just people leaving the city behind. Most people go to the countryside and celebrate there, or in their summer cabins or somewhere. And it's just really about being together with friends or with family and staying in nature and having good time. So nowadays still, even though Finland is quite non-religious country, the pagan traditions, they are still alive and well, especially around Juhannus. So Ukko was the god of fertility, and in the pagan times Finland, it was very much an agricultural society, and it was based on farming. It was a farming culture. And who do you worship when it is a farming culture? You worship the thunder god, obviously. So Ukko was a very important god. And in many other cultures, the thunder gods, they have lots of different kind of meanings, like being the god of wars and all kinds of nasty stuff. But Ukko in Finland, he has always been quite peaceful god, in fact, and he was also the protector of lovers and families, and people approached Ukko as being the god of fertility and being god of the good luck bringer and protector of life, not just human life but all life. All the life came from Ukko and Akka, pretty much. Akka is Ukko's spouse, or her name is also Rauni. And unfortunately in Finland we don't have much information left about Akka, because during the Middle Ages the church, both Catholic and the Lutheran church, they pretty much destroyed all the cults. The cult of Akka was pretty much destroyed, and those female Finnish deities that were left, they were either turned into Virgin Mary type, or they were demonized as witchy bitches. Anyway, unfortunately we don't have that much information about Akka. If you know Kjallarhorn and you have heard the songs Suvetar, I think that is about Akka, pretty much. It's one of my favorite Juhannus songs. Anyway, when there was Ukonvakat during the midsummer solstice, it was a big party. It was a huge celebration for Ukko, and that included eating and drinking and dancing and just having a good time. And this still takes place in Finland today, because that's what Juhannus is about. It's about eating and having good time and spending time in nature. And Ukon vakat, vakka means a sacrifice done for Ukko, and for Ukko people usually sacrificed bread and booze and beer and grains and all kinds of food from the farms, and that's what vakka means, so it was called as Ukon vakat. And Ukko, he was the god of fire, because he rules the thunder, so obviously the element of the midsummer solstice is fire. And he was the god who protected the fertility of the land. He also protected the fertility of the people. This is why in Finland many times during Juhannus people did lots of love magic and love spells. And I know many people who still do them today around Juhannus. One custom related to Juhannus was to have these kind of birch trees or trunks of birch trees, and they were put up next to houses. And if you know something about Swedish midsummer celebration, they have the midsummer pole, like they have maypoles as well. So it was a bit similar in Finland back in the days, but nowadays people don't really do that anymore, and so many people live in the cities, so you can really like chop a birch tree and put that in front of your door. Anyway, but back in the days people did this a lot, and those birch trees, they were called as Juhannuskoivu, the Juhannus birch tree, and they were decorated with ribbons and flowers and like fresh leaves and so on, and just in general houses, they were cleaned and rubbed, and saunas, they were cleaned, and stables, they were cleaned for Juhannus, and they were decorated with fresh flowers, and these wreaths that were made from leaves, and they were all over, and it was all very, very pretty, I can imagine. And children, they did lots of wreaths for their heads, flower wreaths, and they were also given to animals, so they might put some flowers to the cow horns, and for the horses also little wreaths for the horses. So I imagine it has been very pretty. And just to celebrate summer and life with those flowers, and each flower and each tree, they all have different pagan meanings. I've been thinking about doing another series, maybe in Finnish, about different flowers and trees and their symbolism. Can't do that in English because the biological vocabulary in English, I'm not very good at that, but I will put the subtitles, don't you worry. And there's lots of these summer magic related to Juhannus, obviously, and one very common spell was to collect 9 different kinds of white flowers, and it also could have been 5, 7 or 12 white flowers depending on the source. Then you would put them under your pillow, and during the night you would see your future spouse in your dreams. I used to do that a lot when I was a child, but I can't remember my dreams. Maybe I should do it again. Anyway, it's quite nice spell. And another very common one was to go to the forest and try to find a spring or a well, a little spring or a well in the forest. And if you would stare there in the midsummer solstice or Juhannus night, you would see your future spouse there. So there was lots of that kind of magic going on. And bonfires, that's the most common Finnish Juhannus tradition that still lives today. And the bonfire, that goes all the way back to the shamanic times, like 10,000 years ago, when there were first people in the area what is now known as Finland. And those people who had like shamanistic worldview, and that's how long the bonfire tradition is. And it was connected to Ukko as well, because Ukko obviously was the god of fire. And bonfires, they were lit to get rid of the bad and evil spirits, but also as a symbol of abundance for the people. And the whole idea of the bonfire and the Ukko and the thunder, it actually goes all the way back to the time when people did not worship human-shaped figures as their gods, but animal-shaped figures as their gods and archetypes. And if you're familiar with Finnish and Finno-Baltic mythology especially, there's a huge amount of stories about birds. And Finnish and the Baltic countries, there is this long old expression to describe Finno-Baltic people as the people of the water bird, because there's so many myths about different birds, and birds were very holy for the people. And so before Ukko there was the thunderbird. There was the thunderbird, which was the eagle, kotka in Finnish. And if you have seen eagles, they are massive birds. They are huge. And eagle, at least in Finland, eagle was seen as the omen of thunder, because the eagle, it flies in the summer quite often before the thunder comes, because that's the time when it prays. And before people worshipped these human-shaped gods, they worshipped the animal gods, and the thunderbird was one of the most respected bird gods, you could say that. And a thunderbird, that is connected to bonfire and to the story of the phoenix, which is obviously extremely old story. And the thing is, with the eagle can actually create themselves again from the ashes, literally, because when an eagle gets old, and it gets very tired and the feathers are going off, they can actually choose to die eventually, or they can choose to go through this rebirth process. That is when they land and they will pluck away their old feathers and grow again new ones, new tail and everything. And that actually extends the life of the eagle, and in a way they are reborn again. Nature is amazing. And this is where the whole myth of the phoenix bird comes from. This is why eagles were worshipped as the thunder gods during the shamanistic times in Finland and around the world, because you can find this myth all over, and pretty much in every single culture where there is a thunder god, their symbol is the eagle. For example, in ancient Greece, eagle was the symbol of Zeus, and even more if you go to the Native American cultures, there's a huge amount of stories about the thunderbirds, the eagle. So I always found this myth very, very interesting and very empowering. But that's how eagle, ukko and the bonfires are connected together. And there is lots of different kinds of symbolism related to flowers and to the trees and to different deities in Finnish mythology. And during Juhannus it was a very good time to see fairies and elves. And if you could see below of the wisps, those little flames in the forest, the elf flames, and then you could follow them. And those elf flames, they would lead you to the treasure that was buried by the elves. So if you want to become rich, maybe you might want to go to the forest to see if you could see those little flames and follow them, and maybe you will become rich. We have lots of stories about buried treasures in Finland. And there's one very, very funny superstition as well. If you went to the spring in the not midsummer solstice night, but the Juhannus night, between the 24th and the 25th of June, in the midnight, the water in that well, it would turn into vodka. Oh, that might be interesting to try. And morning dew, that is something very, very sacred ingredient around midsummer solstice as well. One very common midsummer solstice spell was that if you would go outside during the night of 24th and the 25th of June, and then you would roll naked in the morning dew, you would remain beautiful for the rest of the year, obviously. And but there's lots of different kinds of magic related to the morning dew. One was that it would heal all the head pains. If you would have headaches, you would just put some morning dew around your face and that would get easier. Or if you had pain in your ear, you would put some morning dew to your ears. And if someone has tingling in their ears, they might want to try that. And one very interesting superstition towards morning dew was that if you would drink the morning dew after the Saturday, maybe in the Sunday morning, if you would go and drink some morning dew, or in the Saturday morning, you would get a beautiful singing voice. So these are all very, very interesting stories from Finnish folklore. And I think nowadays it's still very much the same, because it's all about going to nature. The cities get really empty. People travel to their summer cabins or countryside, have some good times. They eat well and they drink well. And many people go to sauna. Pagans do lots of summer spells. Finnish pagans are very active when it comes to Juhannus spells. And I would really be interested to hear if someone tries these spells and reports them. So if you do, please let me know. I have tried some of them and they are very, very entertaining, at least if they don't work. Some of them do work, some of them don't, you know. It's all about what are your goals and what you want. Alright. Thank you for watching, guys. If you are in Finland, hyvää juhannusta. If you are somewhere else, happy midsummer solstice, and I will see you on my next video. Take care and bye. Thank you for watching. If you're interested to learn more about Finnish mythology and folklore and ancient customs and beliefs, I have an 8-week online course called The Heart of Mielikki, which is a deep dive into the world of Finnish mythology and all the different deities and legends. You can find more information about it on my website, fairychamber.com, and I will also add the links to the description. Have a great day, make good choices, and I will see you next time. Bye!